I'm here with Stassi today, and this will be our first video in our pet health and education section of the channel, so I hope you guys enjoy. And the title of this video is So You Want to Buy a Puppy. And this subject is very near and dear to my heart, so I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on buying from a responsible breeder and the differences between responsible breeders and bad breeders. So basically, there are a few different ways that you can obtain a puppy. The first way is through a responsible breeder. The second way is through rescue. The third way is through a backyard breeder, and a backyard breeder is someone who breeds two dogs because they have purebred dogs, or sometimes they're not purebred dogs and they breed them because they have pets and they want to have a litter. And so that is what we call a backyard breeder. And then the fourth way is through a pet store. So let's start off with the pet store. Never, ever, ever buy a pet from a pet store. Any good breeder does not sell to pet stores. The majority of pet store puppies do come from puppy mills. And if you are an animal lover, if you have any regard for dogs' well-being at all, just look that up and educate yourself on what puppy mills are. They are horrible, deplorable conditions that dogs are kept in just for breeding purposes. And then they produce cute little puppies, and those puppies get shipped off to pet stores where people don't really realize where they come from. And let's face it, all puppies are cute. And so it's not until those puppies start to grow and they don't look like the breed that you picked out, or they start to have horrible health conditions, that you may realize that this puppy came from a not so good place. So in order to stop that, we as the public need to stop buying from pet stores. That's the only way that these breeders are going to stop. I'm mighty afraid that it's going to always go on, but if all of us just make that commitment to never buy a puppy from a pet store so that we do not support puppy mills, that would be awesome. So in this video, I am going to go through the different ways and kind of compare a responsible breeder to a bad breeder. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be saying a good breeder, meaning a responsible breeder, and a bad breeder, meaning a backyard breeder. Then there are the route of going through rescue, which is always a great thing to do. But I will be honest and say that rescue is not for everyone. So if you are the type that loves to rescue, I commend you, I applaud you, that's a great thing. We need people like you. But if you are going to be looking for a puppy from a breeder, then this is the video for you. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing, and I do have a cheat sheet, so I hope you guys don't mind me looking down because I can't remember everything offhand. But the first thing that I want to talk about is when you decide that you want to bring a puppy into your home, the first thing you need to decide is which breed is best suited for me and my family. That is so very important. You not only should go by looks alone, you should go by what is the temperament of the dog. What type of activity does the breed usually have? Is it a high energy dog? If you live in an apartment and you don't really go out and take walks or runs, you don't want a high energy dog just because you like the way that high energy dog looks. If you are an active person and you want a dog that is going to go running with you and take long walks with you, then you don't want a little small lap dog because that is not what they're bred to do. So most breeds have been bred for a reason, and I urge you, when you are looking for the perfect breed for you, is to go on over to the AKC website, look up the breed, look up the breed standard, and look up what exactly that dog was bred to do. So if you want a little dog that's going to be a companion dog, that's just going to sit in your lap, then there are dogs that were bred to be companion dogs. If you want a dog to go out and hunt or to run with or to do agility with, there are dogs that are bred to do those such things. Also look at the breed standard. Know ahead of time once you pick your breed, what is the breed standard? What weight should your dog be at full grown? Every dog has a breed standard. So if a Shih Tzu is supposed to be between 9 and 16 pounds, then you know that that is what you're going to probably wind up with if you go with a responsible breeder. You know, a Yorkie, I think their breed standard is 4 to 7 pounds. So if you want something a little bit smaller, then maybe the Yorkie is for you. Also look at the grooming requirements for the particular dog. If you are a person that loves grooming and that doesn't mind, you know, getting your dog, you know, clipped or shaved, or not getting your dog clipped and doing the grooming at home, keeping them in a show coat, not keeping them in a show coat, whatever it is you like to do, make sure that you get a breed that is suited for your needs. So I cannot stress that enough, to make sure that you pick a breed all around that is perfect for you and your family. Also look at the ages of your children. If you have children, you don't want to really bring or have a little tiny dog. I know that is the thing to do. Everyone wants little teacup dogs, but really, if you have small children, that's very dangerous. Little small dogs like Chihuahuas, Yorkies, or the smaller end of the Yorkie spectrum, really are very difficult to own when you have small children, because they can be injured very easily. So you want to look at that as well. While we're talking about the teacup, or since I brought up the teacup word, I also want to, first thing I'll mention actually, when you're looking at a breeder, is if they use words like teacup, mini, imperial for Shih Tzus, stay away. That's a big red flag. Nowhere in the breed standard are those words mentioned. So if it's not mentioned in the breed standard, then that is a backyard breeder who is just using those words to tell people or the public what they want to hear to sell their puppies. So that is a huge red flag. All right, so after you have picked your breed and you know exactly what breed best suits you and your lifestyle, then we are going to kind of compare what to look for in a breeder. And the first thing that one should look for in a breeder is if they show their dogs. Now, this doesn't mean that they have to be at a show every weekend. It doesn't mean that at all. There are hobby breeders that just show very occasionally, and that is because showing is very expensive. And depending on the types of jobs that these people have, some people can dedicate every weekend to it. Some people can only dedicate once a month or once every few months. But you should be looking for a breeder that does show their dogs. The reason why is because this evaluates their breeding stock. It makes them conform to the breed standard. And if you are, not going to rescue and you're going to go the route of going with a breeder, then I'm assuming that you want your breed that you picked out to look like the breed that you picked out. You also want a sound temperament. You don't want a shy dog. You don't want an aggressive dog. And all of these things are done through showing, so that these breeders can only breed the best of the best to keep within the breed standard of their breed. So that is very important. Bad breeders don't show. They don't care. So it's important that you look for a breeder who shows, because that will give you the best chances of getting a dog that's going to look like the breed it is supposed to look like. Also have the temperament according to the breed standard of what it's supposed to have. And if it's say like a field and track dog, also look, say if you're looking for a field and track dog, a lab or an agility dog, a border collie, you would want to look for breeders who do those types of things to prove their breeding stock. All right. So the next thing on my list here is that a good breeder should be a valuable source of information for the lifetime of your pet. They should know everything about that breed. When you start interviewing them and asking them questions, make a list and ask them lots and lots of questions on the breed. Ask them questions on their pedigree. Ask them questions on their lines of their dogs. And they should be able to tell you, right away, all of those things that you are asking. And it is very clear when you start talking to breeders, the ones who know what they're talking about and the ones who are just kind of winging it. So your breeder, it should be a person that you can go to for the lifetime of your pet with any questions, any concerns, and they should be able to answer those questions and concerns, and they also will have an interest on how your pet is doing throughout their years. So it is important that you have a good relationship with the breeder that you choose, because this could be a person that could be in your life for the lifetime of your pet. So make sure you do have or establish a good relationship with your breeder. The next thing that you should look for is the pedigrees of the dogs. So if you see a pedigree from a good breeder, you're going to see champions on there. You're going to see names of kennels that maybe you might recognize from your research. Whereas if you look at the pedigree from a backyard breeder or from a bad breeder, there's going to be like Roxanne's Stasi on there. That's a sign. That is a sign that was just someone's pet. And if you want to look at that pedigree and see some kennel names, champions on there. And that will tell you that, hey, this breeder does what they are supposed to do in evaluating their stock. They are putting time and energy and money into bettering the breed, and that's what you want to look for. While we are talking about pedigrees, I will first say the differences between AKC and CKC. Many backyard breeders use the registry called CKC, and AKC and CKC are registries, so that they are companies that you send the information of the litter, or the breeder sends the information of the litter and registers the litter so that the puppy has papers. Well, there are good registries and there are bad registries. A good registry is for example, AKC. In the Cavalier world, Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, they have their own registry, because way back when, before the AKC recognized the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel as a breed, they had their own club called the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Club. So their registry is CKSC, CKCS, whatever, those initials. And so that's a good registry. And many Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, just like Harper, are dual registered. So she's registered with the old club, which is the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Club, and she's also registered with AKC. However, there is another registry that is very, very common in the backyard breeder world, and that registry is called the CKC. I can tell you from experience, anyone can send anything into the CKC. They will register it and they will send back papers. That doesn't prove a thing. AKC has very strict rules, and they have ways of checking up on breeders, so they are much more stringent on their breeders. CKC could care less, much like the backyard breeder. So in order for those backyard breeders to say that, hey, my puppies have papers, they will register them with the CKC. And that, yes, your puppy will have papers. Oh my goodness, what's the matter? They will have papers, but you might as well put them on the floor and let them go pee-pee on it, because that's about what they're worth. Okay, so that is all about pedigrees and registries. The next thing on my list is when you are interviewing your breeder, ask them at what age do they let their puppies go to their new homes. That is a big, big sign whether you are dealing with a good breeder or a bad breeder. Good breeders will keep their puppies until they're 12 weeks old. Bad breeders will let them go at 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks old. I've even known people that have gotten their puppy at 5 weeks old. That is a huge, huge no-no and a huge red flag. They are only concerned about money. They are not concerned about the well-being or the effects that this has on puppies in the long run. So if you see a breeder, or if you are interviewing a breeder that tells you that they let their puppies go at 6 weeks or 7 weeks, then say, okay, thank you, and move on. Good breeders will keep their puppies until they are older, because there are a lot of things that moms and siblings teach the puppies during those stages. And things like bite inhibition, how, okay, I'm not going to bite too hard because my mom or my siblings are going to teach me by yelping, or, you know, whatever they do. I mean, I'm not a breeder, so I don't know exactly all the specifics, but there are things that they are, or that they learn when they are with their litter mates up until about 12 weeks of age. So that is very important and is something for you to look for. Okay, next on my list here is a good breeder will be willing to provide references for you. So if you are interviewing a breeder, ask for references from past puppy owners. They will be willing to give them to you. A bad breeder is more than likely not going to be able to provide references to you, or won't give them to you. Good breeders know everything about their puppy's ancestry. So when you start asking questions, they will know, well, the grandpa was such and such, and the grandma was, you know, this amount of, or was this weight, and I don't know, just everything. They'll know health issues, they'll know size issues. They know everything about their ancestry, whereas a bad breeder really doesn't know anything about where their puppies are coming from, what's behind their lines. So the importance of that is, if a good breeder, if they know that they bred a dog that had bad knees, and they culled that dog from their breeding program, then chances are the dog that you get will be healthier because they know the health that is behind their lines. Whereas a backyard breeder or a bad breeder, because they don't know what's behind their lines, all they know is that, hey, I have a dog, you have a dog, let's put them together, let's have puppies. They don't know if there's any health issues that gets brought down through the generations. And most of the time, even if they did know, a bad breeder is not going to care anyway, because they are only in it for the money. So they're only in it because they want to make a few dollars, or they want to see their great dog have puppies. Why? I have no idea. And you are then stuck with a puppy that doesn't meet the breed standard, that may have health issues, and may have temperament issues as well. So that's just a few important reasons why to buy from a good breeder. I think I got a little off track. Sorry about that. Okay. Good breeders will only breed to improve the breed, and they will only usually have a couple of litters a year. Bad breeders will either be breeding their pets just because they have them, or they will breed numerous times, as many times as they can, because they want to make more money. A good breeder will not breed their dogs, or their bitches actually. Yes, that's what you are. I'm sorry. Until they are 2 years old. A bad breeder doesn't care how old they are. As soon as they come in a heat, they're breeding them. And that is really a bad thing as well, because moms have to have a certain maturity level in order to take care of their puppies correctly. And it's better to breed them when they are about 2 years old, as compared to a young mama who is just a puppy herself having babies. So that is not a good thing. A good breeder will sell their puppies on contracts only, and they will only sell to pet people on a limited spay-neuter contract. So if you are interviewing a breeder and they don't mention this, and you ask if there is a contract, then, and they tell you no, then that is a sign of a bad breeder. Good breeders want to make sure that they protect the breed, and that they don't just let anybody breed their dogs, because they are afraid that they wind up in homes like backyard breeders, just breeding their dogs. They care about the breed. They care about the puppies that they send out of their homes. They are their first moms. I mean, they love these puppies, and they want to make sure that they are well taken care of. So a spay-neuter contract is always done on any puppy that is sold to a pet home, if you are buying from a show breeder or a good breeder. Okay. Good breeders sell their dogs with a health guarantee. So always ask about the health guarantee, because your good breeder will always have a guarantee for any congenital defects that come about. Bad breeders don't have a guarantee at all. So that is something also to ask for. Another thing about contracts. A good breeder will have a contract that you sign, and they also will interview you. What is the matter? What is the matter? She's getting antsy sitting here. Yes, you are. A good breeder will also interview you and ask you questions on your family, what type of family you have, what are you looking for in a pet or in a dog. And so, be prepared. I know for Harper's breeder, I had to send him pictures of our home, pictures of our yard, pictures of our family, in order to get Harper's. Not all breeders are like that, and I don't think that that is definitely something that is a must, but it's a good sign when you have a breeder that is interested in, well, tell me a little bit about you. What is your family like? Do you have small kids? Do you work outside of the home? So that is a good sign of a good breeder, is when they are interested in you and they are not just selling a puppy, first come, first serve. You have the money, you can have the dog. So that is a good sign. That is a sign of a good breeder. Okay, also, The sign of a good breeder is if they, or let me tell you, let's go the other way. If a breeder tells you that I can guarantee all of my puppies are healthy, you will never have a problem with this puppy, run. Because all dogs, whether they are bred by good breeders or bad breeders, can have a health issue. It's just like humans. That's just like two humans saying, well, you know, if we procreate, we are never going to have a child with special needs. No one knows that. But in the breeding world, in the dog breeding world, you increase your chances of having a dog with a health problem with a bad breeder. Absolutely. And I always tell everyone, it's almost like walking down an alley in New Orleans. You can walk down a dark alley in New Orleans every day of the week and never have anything happen. But one day, you're going to get caught. Something is going to happen. So your chances are much, much higher of having a health issue with someone who doesn't do all of the health testing and showing and things that the good breeders do. So, and if they tell you that my dogs never have an issue, these dogs are healthy, you won't have an issue, that's not a good sign. A good breeder will be honest with you and tell you, you know, they will tell you the truth. And they know their lines, so they, you know, are more apt to only breed dogs that do not have health issues that can be brought down from generation to generation. So that's why your chances of, you know, getting a dog from a good breeder of not having, or the dog not having as many health issues is because of that, because they do health testing. Good breeders will test for things that are prone to the breed, and bad breeders don't do any of that. A good breeder will also cull a dog from their breeding program and place it in a loving forever home if they are found to have, you know, problems with their knees or a problem, like a heart issue or anything like that. They won't just continue to breed that dog because they have that dog. Where a bad breeder will. They don't care. First of all, they're not going to know about it because they don't test for it. And second of all, even if they did know about it, all they care about is money and making a few dollars. So they're not going to cull those from their breeding program because they don't have a breeding program. It's mainly just their pets. Also, a good breeder requires that the dog comes back to them for the lifetime of the dog if it doesn't work out in the puppy's new home. A bad breeder says goodbye, good luck, find them a new home if it doesn't work out. Price. Usually, if you see a cheap price somewhere on a puppy, you can pretty much guarantee that that is not a good breeder. All good breeders pretty much are within about the same price range for their puppies because they do go through a lot of expense in having those litters. They do the health testing. They show, you know, to prove their breeding stock. So there is more money involved in producing those litters, so their price will be higher. A lot of good breeders will sell puppies from a waiting list before those puppies are even born. So, you know, you may have to get on a waiting list from a breeder. If you find the perfect breeder that you love, that, you know, you feel comfortable with, you may have to get on a waiting list. Whereas a bad breeder sells those puppies whenever they're born. You'll see them, they'll advertise them in the newspaper or on social media. Any way they can, they just want to get rid of those puppies and get their money. A good breeder will be able to show you their dogs. If you go to visit them, if you're lucky enough to be in the same city where your breeder does, you know, have their dogs, then you'll be able to see the dogs, see what they look like, make sure they meet up to the breed standard, and make sure that they have the temperament that the breed is supposed to have. A lot of times, bad breeders will meet people in parking lots, they will meet them on the road somewhere, and you never get to see where those puppies came from. Like I said, all puppies are cute, and you have no idea if the mom or the dad were shy or aggressive, and that's a very, very big thing as temperament. So you need to make sure that your puppy has the temperament that you want and that you are not going to get a shy or aggressive dog. All right, so I think that pretty much wraps up everything that I can think of on responsible breeders versus bad breeders. And all in all, the moral of this video is to find a puppy that comes from a good breeder, that improves the breed, not hurts the breed, and who will meet your expectations as far as size, looks, and temperament. And if you don't care about any of those things, then my suggestion, rather than going to a bad breeder, a backyard breeder, a pet store, is to rescue. So, you know, like I said in the beginning of the video, rescue is not for everyone. It's not really for me because of just different personal reasons. But I commend anyone that does rescue, and I think it's an awesome thing, and we definitely need people to rescue. So if you're not really caring about those things that I just mentioned, then please rescue. And the first place to always look for when you are going to rescue is the breed, like the Shih Tzu Rescue Club, if you are interested in Shih Tzus. Or if you're interested in a Cavalier rescue, you can go to the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Rescue. All you can do is be informed and make the best decision that you can make. So I hope this video helps. Good luck finding your new puppy, and bye. Tell everybody bye, Stassi. Say bye.